Here I'm talking about one opportunity. You will stop chasing recruiters and companies. You will stop applying at LinkedIn jobs or any other job site. Instead, you will work towards setting up GCC. It is Global Competency Center. You know this anyway. Earlier, we used to call them as R&D centers, and some people used to call it as captive centers. ODC is the jargon used in service companies, but it's one and the same. There is nothing new about GCCs. This existed since late 1990s. How do you set up a GCC yourself and for whom? So we are talking not about the huge companies. We are talking about the tiny companies, small and medium companies across the world. Why would they want to do GCCs? They don't even know what is GCC. All they would be struggling with this is their problem. They would be struggling with their problems. And when you say you want to set up GCC, how will they react? So when you say you have to approach some small or medium companies abroad, how to search, what kind of things to search, look for, and do they really need anybody? And then how do you pitch it? Because with your past experience, you may not have ever done that. So we need to understand what has changed globally in past 15 years or 20 years. Say when I joined the industry, so late 90s, very few MNCs took the initiative to set up an office in a country like India. They were already global, they understood the world, they had the maturity to set up centers around the world. They relied on low cost and stable country. So how is it different now? Now when we talk about GCC, we are talking about you going as an expert provider of engineering services. Not that I know C, C++ and then I know Python and then give me some work. See, that was the mode 15 years back. Now what I'm asking you to do is to go and study specific segments because you already are good at program management, technical management and people management, etc. You are also good at some domain. When I say domain, I'm talking about either healthcare, finance, or semiconductor, or smart factories, industrial automations. So there are so many industries, and wherein you already understand one of these. I'm sure it is an easy ask. When you are targeting small or medium companies, maybe say 100 people engineering budget and things like that, you are picking in such a way that it fits your profile. And will everybody listen? Definitely not. So who should you go after? So you look for two patterns. One is if they have raised a huge money, maybe 2 3 years back, and then their noise has reduced or their online activity has reduced, but they exist. So that means that after release they got into fund crunch and they may have a product and they may have some customers, but their engineering budget may be going down because their sales were not enough as they promised. Then the second pattern is it may be a non-software company primarily, such as a controller company for say some industrial. Say for some manufacturing, they create some tester or controller, building controller, things like that. Such companies may not have factored in for software at all, but as they progressed, they realized that this is needed. They may have juggled around a bit and then created some software budget, but they may have realized that it is not enough. So either way, in both of these patterns, so you have somebody who is pressed for funds, then who also realizes that he needs software and then he needs at low cost. At the same time, he may not be a global guy per se, so he may not really know how to approach others and then seek. So he may not know so much about program management So he probably may not advertise that, okay, I'm seeking a software vendor at low cost. They may not even have that. So this is where your maturity comes in. This is where you use your strengths when you talk to the companies outside. So when you pick some companies and then approach them, and there is a good chance that they will be impressed with you because you have the maturity, and when you talk, that gives the confidence. So many of these skills are so inherent in senior tech professionals that they don't even think that it is special, it is sellable, because everybody can talk. No, not everybody can talk like that. Not everybody has the endurance which you may have shown in last 10 to 20 years. So I have done some research and I have got some examples. So I came across a robotics company which has 12 people. Let me quickly check the location. California based industrial robotic company. Looks like they have about overall engineering budget of 1.5 million. And as we know, China is winning the market because of their low cost and the good quality. And for these people to survive, they need to do something which at much lower cost. Otherwise, they have no fighting chance. As per the ex-employee, so let me read it out. So I joined a startup as a robotic software engineer. This small company had only 12 members, all of which report to the CEO, who is also the CTO. The software team of the company consisted of me working on the backend and vision stuff. Another guy worked on the GUI and the CTO himself, who did not respond well to me asking questions. This guy left after 4 months. And within 7 months, startup lost half of their headcount. I think this was from year 2024, 23, 24. So it's a recent example. So there are also many others. So we talked about hardware specific company. Likewise, many other software centric companies also. So you may have heard about the Gartner hype cycle. So during the hype cycle, they get the funding and then they may make some revenue or totally die. If they make some revenue, they will survive, but with some budget constraint. Totally software companies. So that is another good place to pitch. So after this, you can also look at a third option, which is the field service intensive work. So it may be industrial site configuration or the HVAC configuration. So there are many kinds of places that require service configurations. Service technician job is a lower paid job. So it is quite possible that they were using illegal immigrants because locals may not work and may not work at that pay. So now what happens with the new administration? So they are pushing away all the illegal migrants. Now there is something urgent to be done, right? So very quickly they need to find some replacement. So how to do that? So this is where your maturity and past business skills will come in. See, I had been with the HVAC and then related industries. So I know how to divide this service technician work into minimal on-site work and remote then the remote configuration. So I can define a workflow and I can define a process what can be done offshore, what can be defined remotely, and then what is to be done on site. So when this is done, these companies have a way to survive, otherwise there is no chance. So such people also would be very much willing to listen if they have a large number of service technicians, right? This may be a lower margin and higher headcount opportunity, but you can build a business there. So as we said, if you are leading the GCC, they will have higher respect, higher confidence when you are above 40 because they know there is maturity. Wherein when you approach a recruiter, It is exactly the opposite. If you fit into the category of senior professional above 40 years, then take this seriously. So you may be onto something big. And various governments in India also have taken note of this opportunity. So they have defined many policies. So I know about Karnataka government. So they defined initiative called Beyond Bangalore. So in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, they are promoting setting up of GCCs, and they call nano GCCs, micro and nano GCCs, which may have maybe 100 people or less, or even 10 people or less. So earlier the GCCs were about low cost, and now it is about competitive price with the highest level of talent, and it need not be in Bangalore.